Hello, this is Feed the Birds, a little tutorial on how to play it. Obviously there are hundreds of ways of playing it, but this is a way I've worked out. I'll explain it all as we go. It's in A minor. Okay, I'm going to try and explain how that opening section works. It's quite complicated, and it's called a pedal. If I show you on the keyboard side, it might be easier. If we imagine a chord of A minor, now we want to keep the bass note as an A, but we want to change the chord. Now if we were to change the chord to D minor, most people would jump down to here and play D minor. So A minor to D minor. But that can sound quite jumpy when we do it on a piano keyboard, and indeed when we do it in the buttons, there are nicer ways to do it. The smoothest way of doing it is to keep the A still, because there's an A in D minor and an A in A minor. So we would do this, and then keep the A, and then that means that we've got the same bass note. And then what happens next, there are a variety of chords you can use, but if you use a D7 chord over the bass note, we're still there. It's almost a James Bond type thing. But that's one thing to visualise it here. It's quite hard to visualise it here. So find the A and then the minor. Now if we were to change chord to D minor, we'd just be shifting down. But what we want to do is keep that A there. So, A minor, D minor, but A minor, just reaching underneath, very difficult for you to see that. A minor to D minor, A minor to D minor, and then to D7, A minor, D minor, D7, A minor, D minor, D7. Backwards and forwards. In the first phrase, I tend to keep it sustained. in the second phrase, just play the papa. So that's the first passage. So these are the chords, just read out very slowly. A minor, D minor over A, let's call it D7 over A, D minor over A minor, D minor over A minor, A minor, A minor, D minor over A, D7 over A, D minor over A minor, then we get the real shift, E or E7, back to A minor. So we only have one bass note that's not an A minor. I hope that's clear. There is music provided for this if you follow the link in the description. That should make it a little bit clearer. Second section is the main tune, and there we are in the relative major, so we're going to be into C major. We start with a G chord, 2 bars of that. You can do the papa using the bass and the dominant bass notes. Or you can just stay on the G if you like. With the tune. Or play that again with the same bass note. And with the dominant bass note alternative. Sorry. And then to C. So those 4 bars again. And that sort of repeats, G7 or G. But here we go up to the E chord. And that's going to take us back into the minor. Back to E. A minor. G. So the whole of that second section again, G7 or G. C. G again. C. Scoot up to E. A minor. Then all the changing bass notes, remember that? The changing harmonies over the bass note. E. A minor. G. Then we have the big tune. Now for this, instead of going papa with the tonic and dominant, that's the C and the G, we're going to go to something called the counterbass. That's the row nearest the bellows. So C, E. And the reason we go to the E is a very strong movement from the E to the F. C, E, F. And back to C. So there's 4 bars. Then F, C, D, G. Skip to the D. So F to C, all majors, skip to the D and back to the G. So it's F, C, skip to the D, to the G. And then it sort of repeats again. C, then the E. That's not the chord of E. That's just the bass note E. Then to F, back to C. F, C, G, C. And then we go back to the minor. For the minor, we need to find that E7 chord to prepare us. And then we're into the 4th section. So this is the main tune. big tune. This is just A minor E, A minor E, A minor E, A. And the reason that simple harmony works is that we then do the same thing, but in a relative major. So it's C, G, C, G. And then we go back to the minor, so finally E, A minor, and then the G, which is preparing us to come back to C. So let's go back to the fourth section, which is going to be A minor E, A minor E. A minor E, A minor. Find the C, do the same thing in C. But here find the E. G. Here it is with the tune at that point, so find your A minor. C, up to E, A minor, skip to G, and then we're back to the tune. Here there is a choice, and the choice is to go up to E, but then back down to F again, and that's quite a long way to travel there and back just for the sake of one chord. So there are some substitutions, and this is a substitution I find works. C to F is normal, and then go back to the E part of the C line. And above that, instead of playing a C chord, you play a G chord, which isn't as hard to find as you think. It's almost a natural position for that index finger to go into. So we've had C, C over E, F, and then back to the E chord, but with a G, sorry, E bass note, with a G chord on top. When you do that, you've got an E bass note and then a G chord, you end up with E minor 7, which is a nice substitution. It's a minor version of the chord that it's supposed to be. So here it is with the tune. And then back to F, which you're already there for. To D. D minor, G, just the bass note once, and then C. With the sheet music that you can get from the link in the description, and some of the wanderings through the chords that I've shown you, and once through the tune, which is obviously very familiar, and there are loads of people playing tune far nicer than I can on YouTube links, so maybe go and watch one of those playing. Hopefully that should be a good way of learning a simple tune that's actually got 4 or 5 different sections in it that makes it really worthwhile. Okay, hope that's some use.